So another thing that I find very interesting about you is, it's kind of related to not only you but your community because you work with so many investors on so many different levels. And you and I were talking before about let's go through some things for like somebody starting out, then somebody kind of mid, and somebody high. But when you were going through this, you've dealt with so many people on the education side, and you see a lot of them, man. Like when I teach a course or I'm teaching at a seminar, I'm speaking at a conference. I'm always
Mhm.
like, man, how many people have come to these before? How many people have come to tons of these before? How many people have come to tons of these before and done nothing? And like most of them are like, yeah, like I come here, I get excited, and I do nothing. And I tell them, I'm not interested in seeing what I'm going to get out of you. It's what are you going to get out of this? Like, how is this going to change you? What is this going to get out of you? And I heard you talking about in your situation when you were doing this, you were like, man, I've tried all these other things. What's going to make this different? How is this going to be different this time? How am I going to make something happen? And I feel like that's like a conversation that people have way too late in life, but you figured it out. So not only for you, but maybe for some of the people you work with, if there's somebody listening that's like, man, I've tried 1,000 things. It's always the same thing. I'm never making any moves. How do they make it different, man? How do they make it stick?
Okay, there's this concept that you got to grind. You know what I mean? Like you got to be out there grinding, dude, and you got to be hustling. Okay, and I'm not against any of that. I think that's all great, right? But I'm just gonna tell you how it was for me, right? Like, I work hard? Yeah, I worked hard, right? If you put me in an environment that allows me to work hard, I'll work hard. Here's an example. I go into the gym, right? So I was a gymnast. I was on a team. I was at a coach, right? I will work so hard, right? I will work as hard as I love it. I want to compete. You know what I mean? Like there's good camaraderie, there's good competition. I want to impress the coach, right? Like awesome. Okay, so I get done with my gymnastics career, and I'm like, okay, I gotta not get fat. You know, like I gotta work out. I gotta go to a regular gym, and so I get like a lifetime fitness membership, and I walk in there. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna get fit right now. I'm gonna freaking kill it. Walk around a little bit, scope it out, do about 7 pull-ups. I'm out. All right, that was good. I'm good. I'm gonna go home. That was it. It's just me walking around the gym. At that point in my life, I could not get myself to perform, right? And so I had to go find a new environment that would allow me to perform, right? And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try CrossFit. Well, you show up to CrossFit, right? Now they got high rocks and everything else, right? But like you show up to CrossFit and you got a coach and you got like teammates that are also doing the same workout. And all of a sudden, I'm sweating my butt off again, trying to make it to the top of the leaderboard, like day one. You know what I mean? It wasn't same human, it was just a different environment. Right. And so, like, I needed to change my environment and then I could be unlocked. So, that's one encouragement is like, hey, what's your environment? And can you just put yourself in an environment where you can unlock who you can actually be? Right. So that's one. And that looks like community. It looks like change where you work. You know what I mean? It looks like, a few different things like that. Be in the right Facebook groups, listen to the right stuff, freaking delete Instagram if you have to, or at least program your algorithm to give you the right things. And so that's one. Two, though, was like, here's an example of, all right, this is after I've been working with Cody for a few years. We're doing deals, like we're making money, we're doing deals. And or actually, yeah, this is probably 1 year in, 2 years in. I remember days where I would sit in the office and I did nothing. I was freaking lazy. You know what I mean? Like I would just sit in the office and I remember just being like, it's probably been like 3 or 4 hours. I haven't done anything. Holy crap. Like that made me feel like a super loser. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like that I did nothing, but that was a reality, right? So like this concept of like, if you're not on the grind and you're not freaking A level all the time, you can't make it. Then that didn't happen for me, praise God. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times it's in the details. A lot of times it's in a little bit more effort. It's not in change your whole, like a lot of times it's not in a full, holy crap, I got to be, way up here in order to make anything happen, right? You don't got to look like Brad Pitt to get married, right? Like, like there's a sweet middle ground where you can still be really successful, right? And so I don't know, dude. I think that would be my other encouragement is just you need to be, I think prayerful is very helpful and you need to be thoughtful where you work hard, but try to optimize your environment and then know that, hey, dude, just because you can't get yourself to work 16 hours a day nonstop doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. Do one extra thing, right? Because that can flow into two, can flow into three, can flow into four. Honestly, dude, I know so many guys freaking crushing it in real estate. Like, I'm on a soapbox. Bear with me on this. But I know guys, like when I became successful in real estate or when I was first getting into it, I remember looking at the successful peeps and being like, what the heck? Like I figured the successful people would be wicked smart, work exceptionally hard, right? Like work all the time and be wicked smart, and just like super squared away. Not even close to reality. Okay. Like you show up, it's like alcoholics. It's this dude was a felon, you know what I mean? Or whatever. This guy was like a contractor, didn't complete high school, and all of them are making over 100 grand a month. And it's like, what the heck? Got some, your regular, college grad that's also making money in real estate, everything else like that totally exists. That's a real thing. But that was surprising to me. That was really surprising to me. You know what I mean? It was like, wow, okay, apparently it's not like you have to be up at the top in order to make this work. You just got to do the right things. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, man, that's hysterical. I was just having this conversation with Will Dennis yesterday about like you go to these masterminds, you think everybody's going to be in suits and like taking notes, and like most
Oh,
of the guys, you can't get them out of the bar for 3 days. And I'm like, how do they function on anything? Like it's
what the
insane, but
heck, dude?
it's pretty wild, dude. It's pretty wild. But yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
So
and that's not a recipe for success, by the way. Okay. Don't go that way. I'm just saying. But anyhow, good
Yeah,
times.
but I like what you're saying there because it is like I think it's the fallacy of you work out until you burn out and then people burn out too quick. Like I remember, I always tell the story of my buddy. I remember after a while he came up to me and he looked great. And I was like, hey man, like what happened? You lost all this weight. He's like, man, it was a conversation you had with me a year ago where I was like, I go to the gym and I lift my butt off for 30 days and I diet and I run and I get like results. And then I'm just kind of burnt out. And then I just get fat again and I get lazy for 9 months. And then I go hard for a month and then I'm lazy for 9 months. He's like, and you told me you don't have to go hard every day. You just have to go every day. And I
There you
started
go.
going 15 to 20 minutes a day, 4, 5, 6 days a week. He's like, and now you haven't seen me in 9 months. And it's the first time I had results and I kept them. And it was like, it's the opposite of what you think sometimes. Like, you don't have to go until you can't move anymore because it's not sustainable long term.
Yeah, great call out, dude. Great call out. It's in the details. When you're scaling businesses and stuff like that too, it can be like, man, what am I going to do today that's actually going to move the needle in any type of substantial way, right? And the reality is, though, is like every little detail moves the needle way more than you think. You know what I mean? And so if you can come in and just get one little detail aligned, or you just do 50 push-ups in the morning instead of nothing, like the impact there can be, outrageous. So